Mexico has given the world some of the most creative and colorful toys you can imagine. From spinning tops to luchador figures, generations of kids grew up on these classics. But not every toy from south of the border deserves a place in your home. Some are unsafe, some are poorly made, and some, well, let's just say, they're better left in the past. Today, we're looking at 13 Mexican toys you should avoid at all costs, and the 2 that are actually worth it. So, watch till the very end to discover the 2 that are actually worth it. Let's start straight with the danger. Number 1, bolero. If you grew up in Mexico, chances are you've seen or even played with a bolero. It's that traditional wooden toy where you swing a ball tied to a string and try to catch it in the cup. Sounds simple, right? But here's the thing. Many of the boleros still sold today aren't made with the same quality as the ones your grandparents had. The old versions were handcrafted from durable wood, smoothed down, and painted carefully. But in the last 2 decades, cheaper, mass-produced versions have flooded markets and tourist shops. Some of these are coated with bright paints that, according to a 2018 study by Profico, were found to contain lead levels exceeding safe limits. Lead paint on a toy meant for your kid? Just think about that. And that's not even counting the physical risks. The string can snap mid-swing, turning that wooden ball into a mini wrecking ball flying across the room. In one reported case in California, a child ended up with a nasty bruise on his forehead after the cord broke. A game that's supposed to build hand-eye coordination can quickly send you to the clinic. But if you thought a swinging wooden ball was dangerous, just wait until you hear about a toy that puts spinning tops on steroids. Number 2, trompo. The trompo is another traditional Mexican toy, and initially, it looks harmless. You wind a string around it, throw it down, and watch it spin like crazy. Kids compete to see who can keep it spinning the longest or knock someone else's trompo out of the ring. It sounds fun, like an innocent competition. That is, until you notice the design. Many trompos have a sharp metal tip at the bottom to help them spin longer. That might be fine when it's twirling on the ground, but once kids start battling each other, those tips can go flying. A report from El Universal in 2020 described an incident in Oaxaca where a boy needed stitches on his hand after trying to grab a spinning trompo mid-game. And with cheaper plastic versions now on sale at street fairs, the problem is worse. The plastic shells crack easily, sending shards across the floor. One Profico advisory even warned parents to avoid knockoff trompos that used brittle materials prone to breaking. So yes, while trompos are fun, they can quickly turn into little landmines. And speaking of sharp surprises, the next toy looked innocent until it revealed a hidden hazard right in kids' mouths. Number 3, dulce juguete. When you first see them, dulce juguete looks like the best of both worlds. Candy and toy in one neat little package. A child unwraps it, finds a candy, and tucked inside, a tiny plastic toy or accessory. What could possibly go wrong? Well, almost everything. Dulce juguete products have been flagged multiple times by Profico for failing safety standards. The candy is often made with cheap ingredients that don't meet proper labeling laws. And worse, the toy hidden inside is usually so small, it's a choking hazard waiting to happen. Parents in America have reported children nearly swallowing these little things whole. In 2022, a 4-year-old from Michigan was rushed to the ER after choking on a toy ring that came inside one of these packages. And that's not even mentioning the hygiene issues. The toys aren't sealed separately from the candy, meaning they're handled in the same conditions as the food itself, often without oversight. Imagine your child biting into sugar dusted with microplastics, or worse. It's marketed as a treat. But parents, dulce juguete is really a gamble with your kid's safety. But what if I tell you there's a toy that could burn kids instead? Number 4, piñata mini toys. Piñatas are a Mexican tradition, especially at birthdays. Kids line up, blindfolded, swinging wildly until candy and toys rain down. But here's the catch. Many of those little surprise toys stuffed inside piñatas are not regulated. Vendors buy them in bulk from wholesalers, often imported with no safety labels, warnings, or quality checks. According to a 2021 holiday advisory, more than 60% of piñata fillers tested failed basic safety standards. Parents reported finding toys with loose magnets, plastic with sharp edges, or even unmarked capsules with powders inside. One shocking case in Chicago involved cheap firecracker toys hidden in a piñata that actually ignited when stepped on, which sent sparks across the room. Kids expect sweets and whistles, not explosives. The problem is, piñata culture normalizes these toys as harmless extras, so parents rarely question them, but the risks pile up, and one bad filler can ruin a good moment. Those toys can be scary, sure, but the next one, it's terrifying in a way you'd never expect. But here's the question for parents. Have you ever bought a toy from Mexico or from a market stall that you instantly regretted? Share your story in the comments. It could be the warning another parent needs. Number 5, peluches de mercado. Walk through any Mexican toy store and you'll see stalls lined with colorful plush toys, giant teddy bears, knockoff Disney characters, even luchador dolls, all sold for a fraction of what they cost in big stores. But here's the problem. Most of these plushies are made without safety regulations. In 2017, a consumer safety group tested luchador dolls from a popular Mexican store and found that over half contained stuffing treated with harsh chemicals and unwashed textile scraps. Imagine your toddler hugging what's essentially recycled factory waste. And it doesn't stop there. Loose stitching and cheap materials mean eyes, buttons, and stuffing can come out easily, risking choking hazards. Take this story as a lesson. Mexico City showed a parent cutting open a plush bear bought at a market, only to find used fabric scraps and even dirt inside. They may look soft and cuddly, but these stuffed animals are anything but safe. Now, let's talk about a toy that isn't as joyful as people think it is. Number 6, maracas artesanales. Maracas are one of those toys that feel harmless at first glance. They're colorful, festive, and tied deeply to Mexican tradition, usually made from hollowed gourds or carved wood, filled with seeds or pebbles to give them that classic rattle. You'll find dozens online, in street markets, or even tucked into party favor bags. But here's where it gets dangerous. A lot of these maracas are not made with children in mind at all. The shells can crack open after a few shakes, spilling out sharp fragments and tiny stones that instantly turn into choking hazards. Some maracas are decorated with bright lacquers that, according to a 2018 UNAM study on craftsmen's paints, often test positive for leaks. Imagine a toddler chewing on the painted handle while parents think it's just a fun, safe toy. And sadly, there are cases. In 2021, a family in New York reported their child swallowing the seeds from a broken maraca they bought at a local fair. No safety warning, no packaging, just a tradition that turned into an emergency room visit. Maracas might sound joyful, but they hide a risk that creeps up silently. But if you thought splinters from simple rattles were bad, the next toy hides its dangers behind painted smiles and dangling strings. Number 7, títeres de madera. Títeres de madera, or wooden puppets, are one of those toys that feel straight out of a storybook. Hand-carved faces, painted smiles, dangling strings. It's the kind of thing you'd find at a festival and think, wow, that's charming. But behind that charm is a toy that's caused more trouble than laughter. These puppets are usually made with rough wood that hasn't been sanded properly. That means splinters, tiny sharp ones that can dig into children's fingers while they try to control the strings. And speaking of strings, they tangle fast, forming loops that can wrap around a child's hand, or worse, their neck. A 2019 consumer safety report in Mexico even flagged multiple puppets sold for using paints with lead-based pigments. The problem is that most are handmade in small workshops, so there's no safety regulation, no age warning, nothing. Kids end up chewing on wooden arms or handles, absorbing toxins without anyone realizing. And let's not forget, these things are fragile. Drop one, and the painted head can snap off into sharp wooden pieces. Is it cute? Yes. Is it safe? Not even close. Oh, the kids aren't gonna like the next one. Number 8, lucha libre masks. A lot of kids watch Rey Mysterio and suddenly They want a mask just like his. And honestly, I don't blame them. It makes you look so cool. Kids love putting them on and pretending to be their favorite luchador. But many of these masks are produced cheaply, using synthetic materials and unregulated dyes. A 2019 Profico Antico investigation found toxic solvents in the paints used for certain masks sold in tourist areas. Imagine your child sweating under a plastic mask, breathing in fumes all afternoon. Then there's the suffocation hazard. Masks with poor ventilation have caused fainting incidents during play. A report from Ohio described a 6-year-old who lost consciousness while pretending to wrestle with his brother. He was wearing the mask too tight, they said. Sure, they look flashy and fun, but behind the shine is a dangerous product that doesn't belong on children's faces. And if masks made you uneasy, the next toy proves that even something as innocent as marbles can be a nightmare. Number 9, canicas. Canicas, or marbles, are as classic as it gets. Kids in Mexico have played with them for generations, competing to knock each other's marbles out of chalk-drawn rings. But as simple as they seem, marbles carry huge risks. Choking is the obvious one. Pediatricians across Mexico City have reported dozens of cases where toddlers swallowed marbles, leading to emergency surgeries. But there's another side. Cheaply made marbles often shatter on impact. In 2016, a consumer safety alert warned about marbles that broke into razor-sharp shards when struck. Kids expecting a simple game instead ended up with cuts to their hands. It's a tradition, sure, but one that comes with a price. And if broken glass-like toys aren't enough to scare you, the next toy adds electricity to the scene. Number 10. Electrified toy guitars. Mexico has a rich tradition of toy instruments, from tiny guitars to maracas. But in the 2000s, a wave of battery-powered toy guitars flooded markets. Many of them were knockoffs of popular brands, sold cheaply in stalls, and many of them are still around. The issue? Faulty wiring and low-quality batteries. A 2014 recall in Mexico City pulled hundreds of these guitars from stores after reports of overheating and even minor fires. Parents thought they were buying a musical toy to inspire creativity. Instead, they brought home a fire hazard. Some cases described batteries leaking acid, corroding the plastic, and leaving children with burns on their hands. The irony is that a toy meant to make music ended up silencing playtime altogether. So this is what I tell the parents. Don't buy something if you don't know what went into making it. And the next toy was literally designed to bite back. By the way, if this video helps you steer clear of dangerous toys, hit the like button so more parents can see these warnings. And don't forget to subscribe. We break down unsafe toys every single week. Number 11, teething toys, knockoffs. Mortaderas or teething toys should be safe, right? Soft, chewable, non-toxic. But in Mexican markets, knockoff mortaderas are everywhere, sold for just pennies. A 2017 report tested several of these teethers and found phthalates, chemicals linked to hormonal problems, at levels far beyond safety standards. Now imagine your baby chewing on that for hours. And no, the dangers don't end there. Many of these teethers are poorly sealed, meaning liquid-filled teethers can burst, releasing unknown fluids. Recently, a mother in San Diego found mold growing inside a teether after it split open. Tells you a lot about how safe these things actually are. Parents expect safety in baby products. Unfortunately, with these knockoffs, what you get is anything but safe. And speaking of unsafe, the next toy doesn't just risk kids' health. It straight up messes with their perception of how to handle things. Number 12, Mexican toy guns. Toy guns are controversial everywhere, but in Mexico, they've already led to real danger. And that danger can easily cross over here if you're not careful. Cheaply made pistolas de juguete often look frighteningly realistic. In 2015, Mexico's Secretariat of Public Security urged parents to avoid buying them after multiple incidents where children carrying toy guns were mistaken for real threats. And you know better how police confusion turns dangerous fast. Beyond that, many toy guns use spring-loaded mechanisms that can fire plastic pellets hard enough to cause eye injuries. A 10-year-old in Detroit suffered permanent vision damage from one of these toys in 2018. What's supposed to be make-believe can quickly turn into tragedy. Let's talk about a fun item that proves looks can be deadly deceiving. Number 13. Yo-yos de metal. The yo-yo is another classic Mexican toy, often sold in bright colors at fairs and online. But whenever metal yo-yos hit the markets, things get dangerous. Heavier than wooden or plastic ones. These could cause serious injuries when mishandled. In 2020, hospitals in Mexico City reported multiple cases of kids with bruises and even broken teeth from yo-yos snapping back too hard. And here's the thing. Many cheap metal yo-yos had rough edges that cut through strings quickly, sending the toy flying across the room like a projectile. Sure, the yo-yo is timeless, but the metal versions are more of a weapon than a toy. I heard about a kid taking one of these metallic yo-yos to his school. He got into a fight over it, and well, you can imagine how badly it ended. And after all these dangers, it's worth asking, are there any Mexican toys that actually are safe and worth keeping? Well, yes, 2 of them stand out. Number 14, Loteria. Not every toy on this list is bad news. Loteria, Mexico's version of bingo, is a classic that brings families together without physical risks. Instead of numbers, the cards use colorful illustrations, El Gallo, La Luna, and La Sirena, which kids grow up memorizing. A 2021 cultural study even showed that Loteria helps build vocabulary and cultural identity in young children. Unlike the dangerous toys we've covered, Loteria is all about imagination and social play. No choking hazards, no toxic paints, and no sharp edges. It's a safe way to bond across generations. And while it's timeless, it's not the only toy that holds up today. The last one on our list is living proof that tradition and safety can go hand in hand. Number 15, Trompo, but made better? Yes, we trashed the unsafe versions earlier, but when made correctly, the Trompo can be a safe, skill-building toy. Handmade wooden Trompos without sharp metal tips, painted with certified non-toxic colors, are still produced by artists across Mexico. These versions encourage dexterity, patience, and cultural pride. In fact, community workshops in multiple cities across Mexico and the US now teach children how to play responsibly, keeping the tradition alive without the hazards of mass-produced knockoffs. It's proof that not all old toys need to disappear. Some just need the right care and craftsmanship. Because at the end of the day, toys should spark joy, not send you to the hospital. So what about you? Did you grow up with any of these toys? And have you ever bought any of these toys for your children? Let us know how it turned out in the comments. Thanks for watching. Before you buy, if you want to protect your kids from unsafe toys, hit subscribe. We're exposing the next traditional product you should never bring home in our next video. Stay safe, parents.